Can we all just admit that the online world is so noisy and it's annoying? Social media posts, never-ending opinions. Everyone seems to have a podcast now, which I can't be hypocritical because, hey, I'm over here on a podcast right now. So many YouTube channels being started, so many newsletters and emails, and oh my goodness, everyone just has something to say. And I have found that being in the creator space, the entrepreneurial industry for a while now, I have found that I have enjoyed this up until now. I've enjoyed listening to other people. I've enjoyed hearing a wide variety of different opinions. I've enjoyed seeing the different creative styles and creative output and look and feel and aesthetic of pieces of content until very recently, it all of a sudden all started to feel so noisy and overwhelming and loud to the point where it was hard for me to hear my own voice, my own thoughts, or really reflect on what I really believed. And I'm talking my true beliefs, not beliefs that were being influenced by other people's opinions that I heard about online. I know for a fact that you can relate to that. So here's what I'll say. Instead of you being so frustrated and bothered and annoyed and judging people who are expressing their opinions online, whether it's business related or non-business related, let's have a change of perspective. One, how can we quiet the noise on the days where it's just too much? And two, as creatives ourselves, how can we stand out among the noise? And I want to dive into these two things because the noise isn't going anywhere. It's not going anywhere, and it's not something that we should be repelled by. Because at the end of the day, the people that are showing up and expressing their opinions, their businesses, their products, their offers, their services, their voice, whatever it is, at the end of the day, they are just doing their thing. Whether it's for self reasons or they are obeying what God is calling them to do in their own unique way. You, my friend, can only focus on what you can control and how you mitigate the noise that already exists and how you can stand out among the noise that already exists. Mitigating that noise is so important, especially now because there's so much noise, more than there ever was in the online space, in the entrepreneur world. And we normalize it. We normalize scrolling and hearing the noise. We normalize listening to podcast episodes every single day. We normalize constantly having something on, whether it's the TV or YouTube video or a book we're absorbing. I'm not saying that these things are bad or wrong. I'm just saying that if we don't ever shut it off or go about it in a healthy way, then oftentimes we end up ruining our own selves, not knowing who we are and feeling way too overly influenced by media and by other people that we completely disconnect from who God has called us to be. So, quieting it. Let's talk about that first. But before we dive in, quick little intro if we haven't met yet. I'm Angel Marie. I'm a Christian life and business coach who's dedicated to helping creative entrepreneurs like you grow in your mind, your marketing, and your money God's way. So, how do we mitigate all that online noise? I feel that it's hard for us to do this because we are showing up in some way on some platform to share our own voice and trying to build the business that God put on our own hearts. So when we're showing up on these platforms, it's really difficult to mitigate that noise that we're feeling from everyone else around us because they are also on those platforms. So I am starting to implement a little quick tip that's helping me still show up for the audience that God is calling me to serve, while at the same time not allowing my mind, my emotions to be overwhelmed by everyone else's voice too. That little quick tip is post and ghost. I know, it's a little corny, but let me explain what I'm talking about. Post and ghost. You show up, you post something, and then you hop off. You ghost, you leave. I found that this is starting to help me, even just this past week, because normally I would post and then I would engage with people. I would look back at my other pieces of content. I would look at DMs. I would scroll on my feed and just, engage with other people. Or I would answer questions for my audience. All of this is great, but at the same time, it can feel really overwhelming when you're not mitigating it well. And it can cause you to unintentionally or intentionally dive into this really deep, destructive habit of doom scrolling. You're nonstop scrolling, you're nonstop watching. Now all of a sudden an hour has gone by and you forgot what you're even supposed to be doing right now after you put up the post. So now we're unproductive and now we didn't get as much done as we thought we would because we allowed the habit of scrolling to take over on that day. Many days for a lot of us. So, post and ghost. In this way, you're still showing up. You're not quitting that because you're showing up to build a business. You're showing up online. You're doing what God is calling you to do, but then you leave. Stop scrolling. Stop answering stuff, replying, seeing how your other pieces of content did. You can do that later, which I'll talk about. But right now, post and ghost. I also find that this is really helpful to not constantly track how well the post that you just published is doing. We do that a lot as human beings. We want to see that people are liking something or they're interested in our content, whether it's social media, our podcast episode, our YouTube videos, how many views, how many downloads, how many listens, how many of whatever. Just drop it. It doesn't matter. I understand in the grand scheme of growth, you want that data to matter. But my friend, right now, the reason why you should be showing up on the platform that you chose to show up on anyway is because you are answering God's call for your life and you're trying to market and grow and you are impact mission driven first. When you're leading with that, the views don't matter because you're trusting God, not the numbers. So just had to go on a little rant there because I know sometimes we get way too caught up in that. So post and ghost. This helps you be consistent. It helps you show up. It helps you make impact and then hop the heck off. Focus on your work, on other things that God needs you to do, on responsibilities, whatever it is. Now, at the same time, we don't just want to ignore the people that are replying or commenting or other creatives on the app that we could be engaging with just out of support. We don't necessarily want to never do those things. So in this case, what I would recommend is that you set a little 10-minute timer and you spend that 10-minute timer later on in the day engaging, answering questions, replying, connecting with your audience. And the reason why I say a 10-minute timer is because that can also help keep you from doom scrolling. The minute the timer is done, hop off, ghost again until the next day. I've learned to also align that same strategy with something else I'm already doing productively. So if I am maybe on the treadmill, I will engage while I'm on the treadmill. Or if I'm at the dog park with my dogs, I might do that for a little bit. You'll find what works for you. My whole point is to figure out some way to simply mitigate it so that you're not so overwhelmed by all the noise, while at the same time not allowing that to quiet you down, to dim your light so much to the point where you stop showing up because the noise is just too overwhelming. And when it does, or if it ever does get to that point, that's what a Sabbath day is for. Don't go online at all. That's what taking breaks from social media is for, especially if God is calling you to do that. That's what it's for. Have a little social media cleanse. Do what you need to do to become mentally right again so that you consistently show up for the people that God wants you to help online, if that is what he's calling you to do, without overwhelming yourself due to the noise of everybody else. Now I want to talk about how do you stand out among the noise when everyone's got something to say online. Every opinion, every thought, every strategy, everyone's got something to say. And it can be really difficult for you to see the value in what you have to say, or for you to trust in your own opinions, or have confidence in your own thoughts or who you are based on what God wants you to do or who he's calling you to be, when you're so consumed by what everyone else thinks or what everyone else has to say. So how can you stand out? Now, I'm not saying this in a way to compete. I am not saying this in a way to downplay what other people are saying. I am saying this as a way to build your confidence up in using your voice, shining your light despite the noisy world around you. How can you, my friend, stand out with that as you pursue your business, your marketing, your creative efforts, whatever it might be? First thing I'll say, how do you stand out among the noise online and not just join it? First thing, be different from the norm. There are so many things that are normalized in the online space. Trends, strategy, what you should or shouldn't do in what's going to create higher engaging pieces of content and therefore your marketing being leveled up. There's so much that's being normalized that a lot of people are trying or doing. Now, I want to be mindful of my words. It's okay to try those strategies as well, but I want you to ask yourself two questions. One, do you even feel called to do this? And two, if you do, how can you make sure that you're going about it in your own unique way? For example, I know some people that have asked me about if they should start a podcast. In my mind, I'm like, well, why are you asking me? I don't know if you should start a podcast. I think you should pray about it. I think you should see if that's something that you actually want to do, that you feel called to do, that you would be wanting or feeling passionate about trying. Or are you just saying that because everyone else seems to have a podcast and it just looks like the right thing to do? I think podcasts can work great, but I'm not going to recommend that you do a podcast if you're not feeling passionate about it or called to that lane. So ask yourself, is this even something you want to do or feel called to? And if it is, don't just copy the norms that everyone else is doing. Add your own unique take on it as well. Even if it's controversial, put your own unique opinion and perspective and way and flow into it. And if you're wondering, well, how do I find that? Think about who you are as a person. What do you like to do as a person? And how can you incorporate those styles and aesthetics in your own pieces of content when you show up online? There is a way to be different from the trends and still have your content online be high engaging. Be different, stand out, test and try what you are seeing works, but add on your own unique differentiator right on top of it. And the only way to find that, my friend, really finding it, is to do it, to try, to test, and then to try and test again. Second way to stand out among the noise and not just join it in the online world as an entrepreneur. Be a human. And when I say that, I am not talking about the obvious of like, oh yeah, be your authentic self. I literally mean be human. The online space is filled with AI. And it's because of AI that causes us to lose our relatability, our human-to-human, true, genuine connection. I can literally tell when something is AI almost every single time. And to be honest, I am tired of it. I'm not even just talking about pieces of content that I can tell are AI. I'm talking about copy, social media captions. I can tell when AI wrote it. Even when it comes to podcast scripts or certain things that are said in YouTube videos, I can tell when it's scripted from AI. I can tell when a lot of your messaging that you're using in your marketing material is AI. Now, this isn't always a bad thing. And again, I can't stand here and be hypocritical because I use AI. But I'm also learning to limit it because I am finding that there's starting to be a disconnect. If I am using AI to generate every podcast episode topic idea, or every social media caption along with my posts, or every YouTube video idea, then what in the world am I doing? Why am I pulling ideas from an AI tool rather than receiving those ideas from God himself? If he called me to build something, create something, do something, then why am I not running to the person who initially gave me that thought in the first place? It's like we unintentionally get lazy in doing the spiritual effort, the mental reworking, the physical output of putting that idea to life with our own hands, with our own original thought. And instead we use AI. It's cool to rework your copy, and it's cool to use AI to help you research stuff. And yes, I'm with that. But what I'm starting to be against is using AI for original ideation. Let your social media captions come from your actual heart. Let your podcast title episodes be shaped by what God wants you to talk about, not what AI is telling you to talk about. Let your products, your offers, your services, your book, whatever it is that you're putting out there, let that be rooted in your spirit. And yes, this is going to take a level of getting back to manual work, my friend. So many people love AI because it's convenient and it's easy and it helps speed things up a little bit more quickly. Well, you know what? It also takes out the human-to-human interaction. It also takes out the true genuineness behind real relatability. Can we get back to the manual, hands-on, heartfelt, spiritual output by taking our ideation to God rather than AI first? Doing that will help you show up in your content, your marketing, your products, your services much more human. And when you're human, nothing can replace that. People can feel that, they receive that, they absorb that. It's okay to use AI. Just don't overdo it. Don't take yourself out of it by unintentionally replacing AI with it, thinking that it's going to solve or provide the solution that you're looking for. That will be a beautiful way of you standing out among the noise, because so many people are using AI now. What does it look like for you to be intentional again and putting your own humanness back in? Your ideas, your writing. Can we just add our own humanness back into the picture? Lastly, on how you can stand out among the noise and not just join it as an entrepreneur. Stop feeling like you need to share every single opinion. When we are scrolling and we see so many people's opinions on so many different topics, political, spiritual, religion, foods, health, entrepreneurship, selling, family, marriage, parenting. I mean, it is endless. And sometimes I feel like when we're scrolling through all of that, it makes us feel, as entrepreneurs who are choosing to be leaders, it makes us feel like we need to talk about all the things we're passionate about, all the things we want to share, all the things we've achieved and accomplished, and oh, well, we can help people and we can say this. My friend, you don't have to. It's honestly better if you don't. Just stick with one main thing that you are going to give your leadership opinion on. Become known for that thing. And don't feel pressured to talk about other things unless you genuinely want to or feel led to. I see this a lot when people feel pressured to talk about politics, when a huge political outburst happens in the news and people feel like, oh, well, I should talk about it. I should be a voice on this. Now let me be careful with what I'm about to say. If you feel led to do that, not pressured, then by all means, share your thought, share your belief, share your take, rooted in what God is maybe wanting to speak through you. However, being a voice doesn't just mean needing to do it publicly on social media. You could be a voice, you could help create change, you can share your beliefs in human-to-human, in-person conversations. And I think sometimes we forget that. Sometimes if it's a political mess, political war, an election, political outburst, there's a rift between Republican, Democrat, conservative, liberal, whatever it is, and all of a sudden everyone's talking about it on social media, we feel pressured to also talk about it on social media. Again, if you feel led to do that, not pressured, then by all means, share your voice. However, sharing your voice can also mean offline. in person to other people. It's to family, maybe it's to friends, maybe it's to your husband, your wife, your kids, and creating small change in those conversations by having those conversations, oftentimes tough ones when you're sharing your beliefs. And I just need to voice that because I am tired of those who are choosing to be leaders, wanting to make impact for people. I am tired of this pressure to need to talk about everything that's in the news or need to highlight this one thing that wasn't talked about. You don't need to be the solution to every problem by sharing your voice to every problem. You don't need to do that. Do what God is calling you to do. Focus in, all in on that. And if you feel led to say something, to voice something, even if it's something that's more emotional connection and you're just maybe highlighting people's feelings, that's okay. But if you don't have to. I know for me, I'm a sensitive person. It takes me a minute to settle into my feelings. So if I see something in the news that was huge, I don't take to social media. I rarely ever do. Because if I were to, I know that I would feel pressured to do that because of me wanting to step into this leadership position. Instead, I know that I have to take time to absorb my feelings, to sit in it, to become aware of it, to fully understand it, and to bring it all at the foot of the cross. Talk about it with God first. It takes me a minute to really work through all of that, sometimes days, and that's okay. It is okay. You don't have to be bold and brave on every single topic and talking about it in the online space. Be bold and brave with yourself first by marinating in those feelings and becoming aware of them, bringing it to God, having conversations with family or friends, if that's where you feel led, or online, if that's where you feel led. That's up to you. Regardless of what route you take in sharing your voice in really hard conversations, drop the judgment. Drop the hate, drop the finger pointing, drop all of that, and literally be who Christ would want you to be, to show up as a representation of him. Bold and firm, yet so loving, opening up his arms, especially to the people that need it. It's just something for you to think about, friend. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thanks so much for tuning in. And hey, if you're looking for a personal coach to keep walking you through these kinds of topics and conversations to help you succeed in your entrepreneurial journey from an income standpoint and an impact standpoint, but doing it God's way, I'd love to walk that path with you. I'd love to be in your corner. You can head to the link right down below that will take you to send a direct message to me on Instagram, since that is my main social media platform, just to start up a conversation. Go ahead and let me know what you're wanting to do in business or where you feel stuck. And I would love to have a conversation around how I can help you personally, give you the encouragement you need, and ultimately just helping you do what God is calling you to do this very year. By the way, when you send me that direct message on Instagram, you will not be met with a bot. You will not be met with AI, any automated DMs. You will be met with me or my actual team, actual human beings. I would love to personally talk with you and be there for you every step of the way. Much love, my friend, and I'll see you next week.